Okay, so today is October 10th, 2024. It is Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Happy Thursday to everyone. Because it is 10/10, that means it is Friendship is Magic Day. I don't think that's like an officially recognized thing, but episode 1 and episode 2, because they came out at the same time, was 10/10/10. So this is, I believe, then the 14-year anniversary of Friendship is Magic. Which is fucking weird to think about that, yeah, it's been 14 years. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I still clearly really love the show. I think after 14 years, it still holds up. For the most part, like, there's still episodes that are complete dog shit, just as I remember. But there are also parts of the show that hold up a little bit better than I thought they did. Some episodes I fucking hated. I liked a lot more coming back to it afterwards. Watch Friendship is Magic, I guess. I just wanted to say that when I was writing this down, I was like, 10/10, I should probably bring that up. I guess on the subject of Friendship is Magic, Project Horizons, I am caught up on my Horizon videos. I did chapter 14 yesterday. I'm almost done with chapter 15. I was just listening to some more of it. I got about 20 minutes left. So I should be finishing it today. I don't know when I'll do the video. It just depends on when I sit down and get my notes done. I'm assuming I'll probably sit down to work on my notes tomorrow. If I have time today, I will. But I'll probably do the notes tomorrow, so I'll probably get to the video Saturday. That sounds about right. And then I will have one chapter left for Security Mare, and I'll get to that when I get to that. I'll probably get to that also Saturday or so. And then I'll do the video probably sometime next week. And like I said, after that, I'm taking a Horizons break. Gonna do my Worm revisiting. I want to read that stupid fucking gender swap Twilight book after. Probably after that, I'll get to Blood and Stars. I might take a slightly longer break and read something else. We'll see. But that's how that's going. Though in terms of things that I watched over the past week, let me go ahead and start with the more recent ones, because I watched the first episode of Don earlier today. It was a lot, and I mean that in the best possible way. I had such a blast watching it. It was a ton of fun. I have a few friends that are watching it as well. I don't know if episode 2 comes out today, if it comes out tomorrow, because it's October 11th is when it comes out, and I don't know if that's when it comes out in Japan, so it came out today in Japan, and so it'll be out later today, or if it's October 11th for us kind of thing. We'll see. I don't think I want to watch it by myself, and not like, oh, it's scary, or like, man, it's too much, I can't handle it. It just feels like the kind of show that as much as I enjoyed it, watching it in a group sounds amazing. And like I said, I've got friends who are watching it. So if we do because at least the last 2 or 3 weeks or so, we've kind of done a thing on Saturdays where when everyone's done with work, we just kind of hang out, play fighting games, maybe watch some college football. Throwing Don up, it sounds like a lot of fun. So I wanted to shout out that. I also learned that SAO Alternative is back for season 2, and that just started. I don't know how much I've really talked about Sword Art Online before on the channel. Short version, I'm not a fan. I watched season 1, which was both arcs, Aincrad and ALO, and I didn't like it. I tried kind of watching Gun Gale. I gave it a couple episodes. I was like, look, this just ain't doing it for me. I've heard Alicization is actually phenomenal. I haven't watched it. I don't care to watch it because I just don't care for Kirito and his story. That being said, I like SAO Alternative a lot. Season 1 was so fucking fun. There is a twist near the end of the season. I won't go spoiling it here. But there was a point maybe halfway through the season where I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know who the identity of this character is. Because if I'm right, this is fucking hilarious. And I want to be right so bad because this sounds amazing. And it went exactly where I thought it did. And I was really happy about that. There's this one scene where the main character is talking to someone she knows online. And when they're talking, he does the wall slam thing. because he's trying to get her attention to talk about someone else, and then she just goes, my first wall slam, which is something Clay and I will still quote to each other out of context. I think that shit's hilarious. The climax of the first season is so fucking cool. I'm excited to watch season 2. I'm glad that it's up. I don't know if I'm going to watch it every week. I don't know if I'll just kind of wait for it to be done and binge it. We'll see, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. But the other thing that I watched recently was the newest episode of Survivor. And I've been saying for the first few weeks, so I'm like, it's just not hitting. It's just not clicking. I keep hearing people like on Twitter and on the subreddit being like, oh, this season is really good. I'm really enjoying it. This might be like the best start to the new era. I'm like, really? What am I not getting? And I'm going to be honest, I still don't know what I was not getting in those first few episodes. They just didn't click. I don't know what this one did, but this episode was fucking awesome. I just really enjoyed it. I think what it was for me is the drama on the Yellow Tribe. I get what they've been setting up, where like, okay, you've got the 3 girls, and then you've got Sammy, who's really close to, oh shit, I don't remember her name, because there's Annika, I think there's Rachel, I feel really bad if I'm getting that wrong, and then I don't remember the girl that he's really close to, but the one where people think they're dating, but they're really not, and all that shit. It's like, okay, they're a duo. Annika and, again, I think Rachel was her name, like, they're a duo, and then you've got Andy, and it's less that Andy's in the middle and more that Andy's on the bottom. But Sammy and Annika really seem to be not liking each other. There's all this shit, but all 3 girls are actually really close. And when they were doing, like, the Sammy-Annika thing in the last episode, I was like, this is what we're doing? Like, I get it, we're building up the drama, we're building up the tension. This, to me, just did not feel super interesting. In this episode, though, with, like, the whole Breadwinners Alliance and the wedge that was starting to drive, I'm like, okay, no, this actually feels kind of interesting. We've got Andy just being Andy, and, oh, shit, my shot in the dark, like, dude, your shot in the dark fell out of your bag, and they, like, kind of buried it. You should go get it. That was funny. Like, I feel bad watching Andy, but I also enjoy watching Andy. He feels, I think I described him as like Banu, but more competent. And this sounds really mean, but that's not a high bar. It's not. But I feel like, no, like, I can see something in Andy where he's like, no, like, I do see a lot of these relationships forming. I can see where the cracks are. I know that these 2 are against each other, and I'm close to this guy, and I think I'm close with her. Was it Sierra? I think Sierra was her name. It's like, I'm really close to Sierra, but then Sierra tells him something, and he tells Sammy, he's like, yo, it's a sign of trust between us, and then Sammy tells Sierra, and Sierra's been thinking, she's like, I kind of like Andy, but I don't know how much I can trust Andy. Then she tells Andy something that immediately goes to Sammy, so she's like, I don't think I can trust this dude at all. Like, I really want to see, like, there's a part of me that's like, I really want to see them go to tribal now to see how all this shit shakes out, because Annika doesn't have a vote anymore. But I'm also like, I don't want to see that because I want to see Andy in the merge. And I don't know if he would last if they don't make the merge. But I think Sammy has the idol, so he could just play it on Andy to make sure Andy gets there. And I don't know, like, I want to see Yellow go to tribal now. Blue, nothing really happened on Blues. I guess Sue found an idol, and I saw a post about it. I don't know if it was, what's his name, like Mike Bloom or something. Anyways, like, there was someone who made a post about how, like, Sue, yeah, no one found out I had the idol. I got away scot-free, also Sue. It's just someone in, like, Darth Maul makeup because of all the fucking red. And to be fair, I liked that a lot. Okay, you're getting a regular idol, no, like, one tribal bullshit. But you're literally caught red-handed. I remember at 42, Drea had to do something similar. It's like, yeah, you got to dip your idol in here. Your hand is now in red paint. You should probably go wash this off so no one knows what happened, but be discreet. I kind of love that. I like what they're doing. I'm not... Okay, let me say this. I fucking hated the password system in 41 and 42. I don't remember if they did it in, like, 43 and whatnot. Who was 43? 43 was the Tikas, I believe. So no, 43 was, that was Jesse and Gabler. I don't remember how Bewares were in that. Oh no, that was the beads. Okay. Yeah, I think it was just the passwords that I didn't like. Because the idea of, an idol is really strong, so you kind of have to do bullshit to go out of your way to get it. And there's further bullshit to make it stronger. I like that a lot. Because it's on you and your initiative to go find it, your initiative to go do this shit. How sneaky can you be? The bead thing was all about your social game. Good shit. The passwords was, hey, now you're announcing that you have an idol to everybody, which feels very counterintuitive. Which, to be fair, is not the worst idea. If it was just, I have to say my phrase and it's active so other people who have idols know who have idols, that would have been cool. But it's, no, I have to wait for someone else on another fucking beach to find their thing and say it. That sucks, because that takes away your initiative and it takes away your fucking vote. I'm glad we're not doing that anymore. I still have my problems with journeys, because again, to me, Survivor is all about your initiative. If I want to risk my vote to get shit and I pay the price and I fuck up, I lose my vote. That's only fair. If I want to gamble with my vote and get an advantage and it works out, kudos to me for, having the cojones to risk it and it paying off. I hate shit where it's, hey, you went on this journey, especially because sometimes you don't even really get a choice. Just like, oh yeah, we're doing a journey, winning tribe, pick people. You have no initiative anymore. You had initiative if you won the challenge. That's bullshit and you know it. Yeah, so here's the thing, like last week was, you have to risk your vote. And you have a 1 in 3 chance of keeping it. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. I should never be forced to risk my vote. Yesterday's was a little more interesting of the playing chicken thing, but even still, I don't like being forced to play and risk your vote. It should always be a choice of the player. Do I want to do this or not? Especially when you literally don't have a choice to go on the journey or not. That sucks. I don't like it. But anyways, I was getting distracted. The blue tribe was just Sue finding her idol and people being like, huh, she's covered in red. Oh yeah, there was an accident with a machete. So you cut yourself? Checks body for scratches. No, I bit my tongue. That's why there's blood in your hair. It was a pretty fun scene. And then we get the red tribe. This was wonderful. I love Rome. Rome is our villain of this season. Rome is a character, but he's so fun. If I was Soul, God bless Soul, man, having to be there and having Rome follow him everywhere to make sure he's not idle hunting. Dude, I'm just going to go on the beach and have a few minutes alone. Can you just let me have that? No, I'm going to follow you. There's no rule that says I can't. I would have been so depressed. I would have been so pissed. This man has the patience of a saint. I saw someone comment that. I was like, no, he fucking does. This guy's awesome. But I love Rome and his villain arc. Last week, like I said, even last week, I was like, I don't know. I'm not crazy about the season yet. I liked it. It just didn't super click. The whole thing with the fish was awesome. This episode, Red's strategy is everything I love about Survivor. Here's the plan. We're voting Soul. There's 4 of us. We think we're 4 strong. He's on the outs. Let's take care of it. And Keyshawn, through a combination of, I like Soul, and I think I can work with him more than I can work with Rome, because I know Rome is a wild card, and I know Rome is a lot. But boy, he's a lot. Maybe I should do this and work with someone I'm more comfortable working with. And also through a combination of, dude, I'm on Survivor. It's a game. I want to win, but I also want to have fun. I want to cause chaos. I want to see goofy shit happen. Let me just make sure I'm pitting these two against each other so they're only focused on each other. And let me snipe Rome. I think it's a good, it's a kind of big move, taking out the big leader on the tribe, but also it makes Genevieve, who's Rome's number 1, more vulnerable, so she's probably more likely to work with me. And also, Soul's now working with me too. And as soon as he was saying the thing about Genevieve, my brain was going, I don't know if that'll work like you think it will. Because I get what you're saying. If I take away your number one, you no longer have a number one, so you're probably going to work with me. But I also think of me, I'm like, I am a very spiteful, petty bitch. And I love it when I get to be a petty bitch. If someone takes away my number one, hoping I'll be more loyal to them, I would probably feign that and be like, yeah, you know, like I got no one else, like, yo, we're going to be really close, let's do this, while thinking, oh, I'm going to make you pay for that. Because if it also depends, like if they take out an alliance member, I'm like, all right, this person was a number, I'm not as close to it as what it is. I'm like, that was my number one. I trusted that person. I've been working with this person. I really like this person. And you did that to them? No. This is personal. Yo, you got to go on your Natalie White arc. Wait, was it Natalie White? Sorry, Natalie White might have been Samoa. Shit, I don't think I know Natalie's last name from San Juan del Sur. We got to go on your Natalie arc. And Genevieve doesn't even let it get that far, because Keyshawn, while talking to Rome, they're talking about like, all right, maybe we give Soul like a fake plan so he doesn't play a shot in the dark. And Keyshawn just says, give him Genevieve's name. I mean, I don't think you want to give him your name. We can't give him his name. I don't want it to be my name. I don't want my name thrown out. Teeny's my ally. Let's just say Genevieve. It's fine. And when Rome tells Genevieve, like, yeah, you know, this was the plan. Oh, okay. Who came up with giving Soul my name? Oh, yeah, Keyshawn did. Really now? So he comes up to me and tells me, I have a plan to take out my number one. And if it's what everyone's doing, I'll go along with it, because there's pros and cons to working with Rome. But then he throws out my name so casually, so nonchalantly. You know, I do trust Rome. And Rome trusts me a lot. I don't know if I trust Keyshawn. Especially not now. Keeping Rome, to me, is more valuable than keeping Keyshawn. So she calls up Rome and is like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's the plan. It's you. You're the plan. This is what Keyshawn was saying. What do you want to do? And I was reading some comments about it and how fucking brilliant that phrasing was. And not just saying to Rome, this is what we're going to do, here's the strategy, but saying like, here's everything that happened, what do you want to do? So it still is giving Rome agency, which is very much like the kind of person Rome is. Like, he wants to have that. God, the fucking puzzle. Oh, the puzzle was so funny. They got to the puzzle first and didn't get a single fucking piece. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen on Survivor. Holy shit. And I mean, I don't want to judge because I am dog shit at puzzles, but I also, knowing I'm dog shit at puzzles, would not have said, look, I'm going to go do the puzzle. Like, nah, y'all can do that. I'm really bad at puzzles, man. But he thought it was so funny. And Soul just saying, that's not it, Rome. That's not it, Rome. It's Rome. Nope. That's not it. This episode was amazing. Like, holy shit. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Genevieve telling Rome exactly what he needs to do, but making it still feel like this is Rome's idea is really good. As people are saying, like, this is what social game is all about. It is having the connections that people tell you shit, and you deciding, this is what I'm going to do with my game. Let me talk to my people the way I need to talk to them, the way that we best communicate, so it doesn't feel like I'm forcing him, blah, 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 blah kind of shit. It just works super well. And then you've got Rome and Soul having to bury the hatchet to work together. And to be fair, because Rome has a steal a vote. He's like, I was just going to steal Soul's vote so he can't even play a shot in the dark. Fuck him. He's like, well, now I want to steal Keyshawn's. And then Teeny comes back from the journey, doesn't have a vote. So only 4 people are voting, and if Rome steals, it's only 3 people, and Rome is 2 of or, sorry, it's 3 people are voting, there's 4 votes, but Rome has 2 of the votes. So, as far as Soul's concerned, it's like, well, as much as I want to vote Rome, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, and if they're giving me an out and a lifeline, I kind of have to take, and you could just kind of see Soul's like, I'm going to play my shot in the dark if I can. I think I'm fucked. And as soon as Rome steals Keyshawn's vote, you kind of saw it in his face of, oh, this might not have been a smokescreen. Oh, I think this is a real plan. It's possible that they're stealing his vote and it is a smokescreen and they're still going to vote me and this is a really good play, but I don't think they're doing that. Okay, I'm in. I think that was the moment where he's like, okay, this is real shit, I'm in. And I was enjoying Keyshawn a lot. I don't want to be like, I'm glad this dude is gone. But it was just kind of that instant karma of him talking at camp. He's like, I can't wait to go to Tribal. Is it bad that I'm super giddy and I'm super excited? And as soon as he gets his vote stolen, it's like, I've got a plan. The plan is awesome. I'm living my best life too. Oh. And that's the shit I love about Survivor. It's not just blindsides, although blindsides are fun. As Kat said right before she got blindsided. Or again, one of my all-time favorites is Judd from, I almost said Nicaragua, but it's Guatemala, where he's like, yeah, I mean, if you get voted out, like, it is what it is. You just kind of got to take it. And he immediately gets voted out. It's like, yeah, but I hope you guys all get bitten by a freaking crocodile, scumbags. It's goated shit. I love it. I love that kind of instant karma. It's wonderful. This was a fantastic episode. Other shit that I've seen. I spent a lot of time there on Survivor. I had a double feature of Ringu and The Ring. I didn't watch any of the other sequels or remakes or all that other shit. Although a few years ago, I've seen The Grudge versus The Ring, and it's the fucking Exorcist. It's stupid. It's goofy. I loved it. Watching the 2 Ring movies back to back, I really want to do a video on it, really comparing and contrasting them. Short version, I like them both quite a bit. I think the American version is less subtle. It's like 20 to 30 minutes longer, and there's moments where I'm like, okay, I can tell this is stuff that's just kind of extra and tacked on that really doesn't need to be there. Some of the extra shit that's tacked on, like with Samara's dad, I kind of like. When it comes to Samara herself, I like her and I don't like her. I mean, like I said, I'll talk about it more in the video. But I guess, again, kind of the short version of that is learning more about her, I think, is interesting if that is the kind of movie you're trying to go for. But I prefer that I know nothing about Sadako. Like, you barely see her face. All you see is one eye, and you never hear her speak. She feels so much more inhuman that way. And I really like that. What they do with Samara, I do like it, but I prefer Sadako. But I really kind of want to go a little bit deeper into it. I can't wait to talk about that stupid fucking horse scene in the remake. It's so bad. It's awesome. The other thing I didn't even write Amazing Digital Circus down. Yeah, episode 3 came out. It was fucking fantastic. Oh my god, it's easily my favorite episode of the show so far, and the first 2 episodes were no slouches either. I watched it like 20 to 30 minutes after watching a film called The Fall. And I don't think I'm going to do a video on The Fall because I don't think I could talk about that movie without it being a really fucking depressing video. The Fall is about 2 people, a little girl named Alexandra who's like 5 years old, and this dude named Roy, who, I don't remember if they said how old Roy is. Somewhere in like his 20s or 30s. I'd say late 20s, early 30s. Both of them were injured from falls. Alexandra, I think, like, fell from a tree and broke her arm. Roy is a stunt man who, like, did this dangerous stunt and broke his leg. And Alexandria goes into Roy's room in the hospital, And he starts telling her a story, as he calls it, an epic. It's this big epic about love and revenge and like bandits and all this kind of shit. And as he's telling the story, Alexandria is imagining it and also kind of giving her input on things, which starts changing the story. I kept thinking of this movie, and I kind of don't want to have to compare The Fall to it. But if you've seen the Adam Sandler film Bedtime Stories, it's kind of like that, except in that it's also like, oh, every time I tell a story, you know, it happens. It's not like that degree. Did I say degree? I don't think I said the D in there. Degree. Anyways, it's not to that degree, but kind of, you know, telling the story, that's how the kid imagines it. The kid's input will change the story, something like that. It's also, I'm going to go and just spoil the film. It's a full spoiler for that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Roy is trying to commit suicide because his girlfriend left him for another man. Because of the injury to his leg, there's a very high chance he is going to be crippled and not be able to walk for the rest of his life. And he just wants to end it all. And he is manipulating Alexandria to help him commit suicide by like, hey, could you take these pills for me? You know, I really need them to be able to sleep, and you're my friend. You know, I can't finish the story if I don't get proper sleep. And her, being 5, is all too willing to help her friend. And if you feel uncomfortable from hearing that, good. It's not pleasant. Roy is not a good person. The climax of this film, after Alexandria has a much bigger fall trying to get more pills for Roy, she's very badly injured, like has a head injury. And now Roy is visiting her, really seeing the consequences of what he's been doing. And he can't keep a straight face. Like, he's crying, and she's begging him on her hospital bed to finish the story. And he's like, it's not a real story. I'm just making it up. It was bullshit. It was to manipulate. She's like, no, I want you to tell me the story. So he's telling the story, and as he's telling the story, everyone is dying. All the characters that she's been really invested in, and their stories of revenge, one after the other, and she is begging him to let them live, and he's just shaking his head like, no, because this is what happens. There is no happy ending. There is no happy ending with me, because the main character of the story, he made it to be Alexandria's father, and then at one point she's like, well, my father's dead. You know, I kind of imagining him as you. And also, you know, she sees him as like a father figure and shit. And all these people are dying because that's what he wants. Because he does not feel like his life is worth living. And this little girl is begging him with every fiber of her being to find something worth living for, because he is worth it. And he just can't see that in himself. And I'm crying the entire time. And these aren't just like, oh, my eyes are wet. Like, I am furiously crying watching the end of this movie. It is beautiful. It is wonderful. And at the end, you know, he stands up. Not him, but like him in the story. And it's that moment of him saying, okay, you got through to me, kid. I'm gonna live. I've been saying for a few weeks that House is probably my favorite movie of the year. It might not be my favorite movie of the year anymore. I had a very emotionally draining day that day. I spent a lot of time I'll get to that in a bit, but like working on a chapter for Orichalcum, and I got it done, but it took a lot longer than I thought it did. And it was also just really sad. So I'm like, I don't feel okay. And then I watched this movie, and I'm like, I'm not okay. And then I watched the circus episode like 20 minutes later. I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. It's about, you know, how there's nothing worse in the world than having someone think that they don't matter and to let them be alone. And You just gotta let people know that they matter and that they're loved. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Also, that was a really fucking creepy shot. That was cool. But it's so beautiful. That was Saturday? That was Saturday. Saturday was rough. Saturday was fucking wild. Anyways, that was shit that I watched. We're like half an hour in. So albums, I listened to Watch the Throne, which is the Kanye West and Jay-Z collaboration album. I liked it. I didn't quite love it. It's really interesting listening to Otis, the normal version of the song. 'Cause the first time I listened to it, I listened to a fucking radio podcast. If you're listening to this, go to the nearest convenience store, put your money in, put your hand in the register. It's like, wait, this is what the song sounds like without it being interrupted and restarted every like 20 seconds? Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it, but that was fun. I listened to Yeezus. I don't know what I think of Yeezus. Like, it's a very passionate album, and I like that, but I'm also like, I just don't know if I like the way it sounds, you know? It's one of those where I feel like I would say I respect it a lot more than I actually liked it. Moon Music, the Coldplay album, came out. I didn't get the thing. I wasn't able to go see them. I thought the album was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I finished Drake by listening to All the Dogs. It's a Drake album. It's an odd numbered Drake album, so I feel like I liked it, but I wasn't like, damn, this was great. It was fine. I liked it. I listened to Section 80 by Kendrick. Again, like, I didn't love it. I thought it was all right. It didn't, like, really stick out to me, unfortunately. Yesterday was GKMC, which is not the first time. I've listened to it last year as well, because I wanted to listen to T-Pap again. And I was like, all right, let me also check this one out. I really like GKMC. I'd say I probably liked it more than any of the Drake albums I've listened to. I don't think that's really a hard decision to make. And I don't know when I'm going to listen to T-Pap again. Probably later today or tomorrow or so, but pretty soon. When I'm done with Kendrick, I'm just kind of going to move into Kanye full time. After I'm done with Kanye, I don't know. I don't know if I'll stick with rap. If so, I think I'm going to listen to 50. If I don't, I might go do someone else. If I don't, I'll do someone else. Yeah, no shit. If I do someone else, I'll probably do Gorillaz, because I asked a buddy of mine like a few weeks ago. I was like, this is something I'm doing. Who would you recommend? He's like, Gorillaz. Yeah, that sounds dope as shit. So I'll probably do Gorillaz. I'll either do Kendrick, Kanye, Gorillaz, or Kendrick, Kanye, 50, and then Gorillaz. We'll see, but that's how that's planning to shape up. Shake out, you better shape up. In terms of games, Wukong, making some progress on that. I did not play it for a few days, and it wasn't like a fuck this game kind of thing. I just had other shit. Like I said, Saturday, I was excited to play Wukong, and I was like, this chapter took me fucking 4 hours to get right. There went my Wukong time, but progress is being made. I'm close-ish to the end of chapter 3. I don't really know when I'm going to have time to finish it, but hopefully I'll get it done this week. We'll see what happens. I did end up playing through Detective School Club, which is that like short VN. In total, it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was a good time. The first 25 minutes-ish, it's very slow. But once you actually start getting gameplay around that time, like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty fun. Yeah, this is the kind of Danganronpa Phoenix Wright-esque shit that I was expecting. And I think it's pretty fun. I don't know if there's plans for, like, more episodes or something. If so, I would probably get them. Like I said, I had a good time with it. And Silent Hill 2 came out. The remake. And Clay has been playing it. I've been watching him play it. Not all of his playtime, because I've like left to go do other shit and like go home. I've been enjoying what I've seen a lot. Clay is a very big horror fan. He loves his horror games. Silent Hill 2 is in his top 2. I think he kind of goes back and forth a little bit between if Silent Hill 2 or Amnesia is his favorite horror game. I think he's settled on Silent Hill 2, but I could be wrong about that. He is loving the remake. He's texted me a couple times. He's like, dude, I'm having trouble sleeping because of this game. this is awesome. That means it is working. I am so happy. So that's really cool. I've seen all the endings. That's a little too, like, I'm familiar with the endings anyways. I've said that In Water is my favorite ending. They've added 2 new endings. There is the Stillness ending and the Bliss ending. Having seen all of the endings, and the UFO ending is different, and it's so fucking funny. I think I have a new favorite ending, and I think it's Stillness. Now, I'm going to go and spoil this, so I'm going to give a countdown here, too. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. I have seen mixed interpretations of this ending. The ending is basically In Water. It's, has the same start of James sitting there. He's about to drive in. But then Mary is in the car with him, and Mary starts talking to him, and James asks if Mary will wait for him, and she's like, I've been waiting for you the entire time. And he looks at the letter, he doesn't read the letter, and it fades to black, and you hear the car turn on, and then go into the water. But you don't see it happen. I have seen some people say, this is just in a good way, but it's like, this is In Water just with extra steps. It's almost like a director's cut of In Water, like a little bit more of the motivation, like with Mary and whatnot. And I don't think that's the case, because I think in Stillness, he doesn't go into the lake. I think he's about to, because I've heard that you need to get In Water first before you can get the Stillness ending. I don't know if that's 100% true. But I think what it is In Water happens, and then James kind of loops and has to do this shit again. And as he gets to the end and is about to do the same thing, he sees Mary, or like Mary talks to him. And it's that conversation that convinces him not to do it. Asking her, will you wait for me, does not sound like something he's going to do if he's immediately going to kill himself. Because, well, she's not going to have to wait anymore. You're about to go join her. To me, it feels like I've decided to live. And it's going to be fucking hard. But I am going to live. But because Mary's body is in the trunk of the car, he still drives the car into the lake to kind of give Mary a proper burial. But he gets out of the car, because there is like a bit of a delay, and it almost does sound like there's a sound of a door opening. So I think when it fades to black, he gets the car ready, like slams on the gas, but he gets out of the car. Mary sinks to the bottom of the lake. James survives. And I think that's my favorite ending. I love In Water because to me, it's that perfect blend of like a sad, fucked up horror ending. But it doesn't feel like super fucked up though. Like you look at the Maria ending, especially that, like, you better do something about that cough. James learned nothing. The Leave ending, I think, is too happy. In Water is James understanding what he did and coming to terms with it, but also saying, like, look, I don't think my life is worth living without her. This is what I think needs to happen. And to me, it feels like a very realistic ending. I think that's what I really like about it. Stillness is In Water. It's In Water with extra steps, but it's In Water. But instead, James says, as hard as it is, and as much guilt as I have, as I rightly have, I want to live, and I think I should live. And Mary saying, which she does in the letter as well, but Mary essentially telling him, I want you to live too, and I will be waiting for you. But remember, I'm waiting. Take your time. That's kind of the vibe I get from it, and I think that's fucking beautiful. Also, because I've heard from those scenes, I've heard a lot of James's voice actor and Mary's voice actor. They're so fucking good. But I will also say, a lot of times that I've heard James talk in game, I'm like, what? Is this just me? He kind of sounds like Tom Brady. Like, I just hear Tom Brady's cadence. I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I can hear it, and it's weird. But anyways, I think it's fantastic. So that's how that's going. I guess that's how I pronounce that word now. What the fuck does that say? Oh, that says sports. I thought that was a T, like starts. Sports, MLB playoffs. Shit's fun. Shit's wild. Grimace and the Mets are in the NLCS now. Like, holy shit. Dodgers Padres is going to a winner-take-all game. That's fun. Tigers are a win away from the the ALCS. Yankees are a game away from the ALCS. I don't know if those Game 4s are today. If they're moved till tomorrow, we'll see. But I'm excited to see how that goes and plays out. I said before, I'm a very, very casual baseball fan. I don't really have a team. Like, I was rooting for the Cubs because, like, the lovable losers. And then they won the thing in 2016. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, go Cubs, but I'm not, like, a Cubs fan, you know? I'm just kind of a free agent when it comes to baseball. I do really enjoy just following the season and seeing how things go. It's a long fucking season. There's a lot of games. Baseball games to me just feel super long. But I really like playoff baseball. Like, that shit is fucking hype. And then we get football. There was a lot of really fun, high-scoring games in Week 5. And look, I am someone who can appreciate a low-scoring game. I like seeing defense being played. But I also like big number. I like points. Like Ravens-Bengals, I got to catch the end of that. Yeah, because I was able to watch I was going to say Texans-Houstons. What the fuck? Texans-Bills. Texans-Bills was, like, kind of boring, and then it got really fun. Also, how the fuck did Josh Allen go back into that game? It's like, that dude looks concussed as hell. Oh, man. I don't like how that happened. But after that game was over, I got to see the end of Bengals-Ravens, which was crazy shit. That was really fun. The Dolphins scored a touchdown. I didn't know if they could do that anymore. Like, I think they maybe scored one against the Titans, but the game was more high scoring than I expected, even for a game that low scoring. Then you got the shootout between the Colts and the Jags. That was fucking nuts. Jags finally got a win. Broncos beat the shit out of the Raiders. We got a 100-yard pick six. I said I had that weird gut feeling Denver would make the playoffs. Because they have a really good defense. They have a winning record. It's a long season. There's a long fucking way to go. But it happened. Is there anything else I really want to talk about besides the Saints? I didn't get to watch that Bucks-Falcons game because that's when we were doing the ring double feature. But shit, that sounded like it was an amazing game. I wish both of them could have lost, but it is what it is. Speaking of the Saints, team is injured to shit. Team disappointed yet again. I think that was the problem, was I was like, okay, I think they're going to win because I'm really disappointed. And that'll kind of get me hooked again. But they didn't win because I was starting to have hope. You got to quash my hope completely first. Reverse coin is no longer a thing because the coin said they were losing to the Chiefs. So now I have no idea what the fuck is going to happen. Carr got injured, so Spencer Rattler is now starting. I'm like, so does that give me, I don't want to say gives me hope, because like, yeah, when Derek Carr had a functioning offensive line and a Taysom Hill, he was slinging it, he was balling. Rattler is not going to have a functioning offensive line. So I'm not like, oh yeah, the quarterback was the problem. Like, look, I think Carr does have his problems. Also, that ball he threw on fourth down to, what was it, like Mason Tipton? It's a perfectly thrown ball. It went right through his hands. The dude just didn't catch it. You put your fucking elbows together. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm excited because I want Rattler to be really good and do well, but I'm not like, yeah, he's our franchise savior. I think Eric McCoy is our franchise savior at center. But that Saunders pick, it wasn't a pick six, but it was a thick pick. That was fun. Even my dad, who's a big Chiefs fan, was like, look, I'm pissed that happened, but I'm going to be honest, I kind of wanted to see him score because that would have been cool. I was like, he really would have. But yeah, like, that was a really cool play. I'm glad I got to see that at least, but man, aside from that, that game was almost fucking unwatchable for me. It's like, our offense can barely do anything. The defense is, they're holding up in the red zone, but they just can't get stops. Like, it was 2nd and 34. How the fuck do you give that up in 3 plays? But that's that. Moving on. I got sworn in yesterday. Was that yesterday? No, today's Thursday. It was Tuesday. 2 days ago, I got sworn in as an Oklahoma lawyer. So that's really cool. Glad I fucking passed the bar. Which does mean when I talk to my friends and they ask me legal questions, I no longer have to say, now, by the way, I can't give you legal advice. Just as someone who's aware of the law, like, this is kind of a basic analysis, but I can't give you any legal advice on this. This is kind of me musing on shit. I don't have to say that anymore. I could actually give them legal advice. Even still, I don't know if I would. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, because there's some shit where I'm like, that is just out of my wheelhouse. I don't know much about that aspect of the law, but I don't know. I could maybe look it up for you or something. But it's just kind of nice. It was a long day because I had to go all the way to OKC and then go all the way back. But it was still, I thought it was a nice ceremony. I got to be in the Capitol building and see, like, the House of Representatives and, like, sit there. I thought that was cool. I liked that. We'll do some Nintendo shit. So I finally sent in my fucking Joy-Cons to be repaired after, like, 4 or 5 years of them being broken. I'm like, it just seems like a lot of work. I don't want to do it. I've just been borrowing toys. Like, I need to fucking do this shit. So they got sent in. I'm hoping they arrive. When did I do that? That was, I think I did that Tuesday. So I don't know. Hopefully, like, by this afternoon or tomorrow, they'll have arrived. So hopefully, like, next week or the week after, I'll have my Joy-Cons back and they'll be working and I can actively play my Switch. That'd be really nice. Apparently, there's some, like, playtest thing on the NSO. I'm going to try to see if I can do that, like, after this video, which is almost done. Fuck, it's been really, really long. I'll try to do that in a bit. The only other thing to talk about is writing. I haven't done any Severance, and I don't feel particularly bad that I haven't been working on Severance because I've been actively working on Orichalcum. So last week, I was like, okay, I've got 2 chapters left. And then, okay, so the timeline of the book, with the exception of the prologue, which is like, this is like 13 years prior, there's day 1, day 2, and day 3. I have 2 chapters left, and then I'm done with day 1. So I did one of them, and it was like, you know, did a little bit here, did a little bit here, then like, I'm going to finish this. This should be like a couple hours, you know, I don't know if I'm going to have to change a lot, so I ended up rewriting a lot of those, like, last 10, 13 pages or so, and a lot of shit was being changed, just a lot of shit was being added. There was shit that was later in the book. I'm like, this is way better here, so let me do this, but let me also make some changes. It took, like, 4 hours. For me, Makoto is a very hard character to get right. I love her character. To me, I think she is a very interesting character. There is a lot going on here. But that's also the thing, like, there's a lot going on. And to me, there's this very fine line with Makoto between, she isn't, like, emoting. I don't want to say emoting, because it's not like, oh, she's very stern. But Makoto is a character who very much internalizes her issues and her doubts, which is a big problem with her characters we see later on. But it is like, there's a fine line between she's thinking too much and she's not thinking enough. Because she's also a very, sorry, I was like, is that a big bug? No, that's a leaf. She's a very prickly, indignant person. Indignant is very much the word I like to use for Makoto. And if you don't see enough of the internal thoughts, I think she just comes across as kind of a bitch. If you see too much of the internal thoughts, she might come across as kind of annoying. And so I'm trying to find that right balance. And again, I'm like, I understand very much why she acts the way she does, and I like that. But what is that fine line between telling the audience too much and not telling them enough? It's like, I have to make sure I get this right. Then I do the next chapter, which is the end of day 1, which is Athena. These are my 2 main characters. Writing Athena is basically the equivalent of just, fuck it, we ball. Because writing Athena feels so easy. Like, the point in that chapter that was harder to write, I'm like, all right, I really have to buckle down, make sure I'm getting this right, is when Makoto was there and they were interacting. Like, all right, I gotta make sure I get the Makoto part right because he's hard to get right. Athena is so easy. And I don't know, I just find that really interesting. But day 1 is done. And I had said, I was like, that's kind of the shit I really wanted to do by the end of October, was I wanted those 2 chapters done and then maybe get a chapter of Severance in. I haven't jumped back into Severance because I'm starting day 2. So day 2, I don't know how easy or hard this is going to be. I know there's like a whole chapter that needs to be written from scratch. I don't think it's going to be super long. And some of the other chapters are like, okay, that has to have an additional scene. That has to have an additional scene. That whole shit needs to just be cut. This part needs to be moved to later in the book because the thing that happens at the end of the book was going to happen around here. But now there's a whole ass climax that should have been there. But I was just struggling to think of what the fuck to do with it for years. So I'm glad I've got one now. So starting Makoto's day 2 chapter, it was kind of going, and then I got stuck, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm overthinking this, or do I really need to change some shit? And after thinking about it for about a day, because I didn't do any writing on Tuesday, that was the day trip, but I did a lot of just like, all right, let me go over this. By the end of the day, I was like, okay, I was kind of overthinking this, but there was some shit I needed to get done and tinker with. And so yesterday I did some tinkering, like actually putting the thoughts onto paper, into words. I'm like, okay, this is actually going really well. I think, not sure, but I think for the most part, the chapter should be able to flow pretty well. When I get to the part at the end, which is the very important pivotal scene in the chapter, I'm like, okay, I don't know how much, like, I know, like, the idea of what needs to happen, part of it might go a little too far. I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know how much of this is an overreaction by some of the characters involved. We might need to tinker with it a bit. Hopefully that'll be okay. And then I get an Athena chapter, which should be really easy. I don't think a lot has to change there. Then we get to Harley, who's not a... He's like you're kind of the other narrator. It's not like, here's our 2 main characters, Makoto and Athena. Harley is there because he kind of has his own story, and also, like, here's just kind of to break up the, I don't want to say the monotony, but here's kind of a break from the main 2. Harley's, I don't think I'm going to have to change a whole lot. I mean, I say that, but who the fuck knows? Harley should be relatively easy, although I might have to change some shit with the Susan scene. Then what's after that? That's where I get a little bit like, I don't know if there's like a mini chapter for Makoto, or if that scene I'm thinking of is at the end of her first chapter. Anyways, there's going to be a lot I'm going to have to mess with, but day 1 is done. The first chapter of day 2 had some hurdles. I think we got the hurdles figured out, which feels good. I will get to Severance when I get to Severance. That'll probably just be look, I've done a lot of Orichalcum now. I need to take a break. Then I get to like, have you met Severance? And then probably do a couple chapters of that. So that's how that's going. That's the week. I hope you've had a good one. I hope you continue to have a good one. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. It's probably going to be Project Horizons 15. It might be talking about the Ring movies, but I'll see you Thursday.